Welcome back, guys, to our first case of 2022. This is True Crime and Chill with me, Prince Tlali. Now, I know it's been a minute since our last case. As a matter of fact, it's been a very long time, and I'm so terribly sorry for that. But I am grateful for the fact that you guys are still here with me even today. And yeah, I appreciate you guys more than you could ever know. But to those who are new to my channel, welcome. Hi, my name is Prince Tlali, and this is True Crime and Chill, where I come to tell you guys about some of the most shocking true crime cases in South Africa. Some you may have heard of, some you may not have heard of, but you won't believe that you never even heard of. So if you would like to keep hearing from me every week when I upload a new video, why don't you go ahead and just press that subscribe button, like the video, and if you want to comment down below, go ahead and comment about the video, about the case. Just share your thoughts, and I would very much appreciate it if you stuck around. Now, this case is going to be one of the most heartbreaking things I've ever covered in my case, one of the most heartbreaking cases, and so it's definitely going to be very heartbreaking for you to hear as well. And with that being said, let me go ahead and give a bit of a content warning before we go straight into it. This case is not advisable for sensitive viewers, as I will be talking about sexual abuse, physical assault, and grievous bodily harm. So if any of these are triggering to you in any way, shape, or form, I would highly advise you to please exit the video, and I will see you again hopefully in my next upload. I do care about your mental health and your emotional well-being, so please do look after yourself, and I will see you in my next upload. So this week's case is about the disappearance and the murder of a 3-year-old little girl by the name of Courtney Pieters. Courtney disappeared from her home in Salbaru, Elisies River in the Western Cape in 2017, and when the community learned of her disappearance, a wide and massive search was conducted in order to help the police increase their chances of finding her alive. Unfortunately, just 9 days later after her disappearance, Courtney's body was found dumped in a heap of trash at the Epping Industrial in the Western Cape. And this was a discovery that devastated her parents. So on the 4th of May 2017, Courtney was with her 6-year-old older brother, but the two kids were being supervised by someone who was considered a family friend and a person that the parents trusted to look after the kids as they were at work trying to provide for their family. Courtney was the youngest child of Juanita Pieters and Aaron Forey. And because they couldn't afford to take the kids to daycare, they left them in the care of someone they considered, like I said, a family friend, someone they thought they could trust with the lives of their children. And this man was Mortimer Saunders, and he was a close friend of Courtney's father, Aaron. Saunders lived with the family in their home. He rented one of their rooms as he did not have a place of his own to stay at the time. So since Saunders was considered a family friend, both Aaron and Juanita were confident in the fact that, like I said earlier, that their kids would be safe in his hands. However, Courtney's parents had no idea how mistaken they were to trust this man, especially with the life of their daughter. Because on the 4th of May in 2017, Saunders executed one of the most horrific and painful tortures on 3-year-old Courtney Pieters. Saunders said that on that day he wanted to sleep in his room, but Courtney kept coming into his room to wake him up because she wanted to watch TV. And so this kept on going on and on until he finally got irritated with her and he finally just snapped. This is when he took the toddler and went on to take some ant poison that was bought about 8 months before the day of that incident. And as he did this, he forced Courtney to drink about 2 glasses of that poison. And whenever she tried to refuse, he would threaten her until she eventually drank all of it like he wanted her to. And even as the poison was slowly taking its effect on the little girl, Saunders then began to keep hitting her on the head, and he also started sexually abusing the girl. But in court, Saunders went on to claim that he never used his private parts to sexually abuse Courtney. He said that he used only his fingers for penetration. However, the court did not believe him because evidence started showing that there was penile penetration during the sexual abuse. And as more evidence was brought forth, it was also shown that Saunders' semen was found in the private parts of Courtney Pieters. And obviously this threw his lie out of the window because you do not ejaculate through your fingers. So it showed that there was more than just finger penetration during Courtney's sexual abuse. So after this was discovered, that he was lying about using his fingers, He then tried to convince the court that he did not rape the young girl while she was still alive. He tried to admit guilt of necrophilia, which is the act of performing sexual acts on a corpse. However, more evidence from experts also showed that this was not the case, that Courtney was in fact raped while she was still alive. So this is another lie of his that he tried to use to somehow sway the court or try to convince them that maybe it's not as worse as it looks, as if necrophilia is any better. But they never believed him one bit. So after Saunders sexually and physically assaulted the little girl, he then strangled her with a towel until she took her last breath. And if you remember earlier on in the video, I did mention that he forced her to drink about 2 glasses of ant poison. And even though it was discovered that it was the type of poison that acted slowly as it showed its effects, it still doesn't take away the fact that it was not a pleasant experience. So not only was this little girl suffering from the effects of the poison, she also had to suffer from being strangled by a full-grown man with whom her safety was entrusted. Remember, this was a family friend, someone the family thought they could trust with their daughter's life. So like I said, on the 4th of May, it was noticed by her family that she was missing. And as this was the case, the community got involved in trying to search for Courtney, and there were a lot of prayers about her safe return. Unfortunately, this wouldn't be the case because 9 days later, her body was found dumped in a heap of trash. And when she was eventually found on the 13th of May of 2017, CCTV footage showed a man who was later identified as Saunders carrying what looked like a heavy bag. At this point, we all know that inside that bag was the body of 3-year-old Courtney Pieters. And what cemented the fact that it was indeed Saunders was that the police received an anonymous tip about him, and also when he was arrested, it was discovered that on the CCTV footage, he was wearing the very same clothes he wore when he got arrested. So the police were very much convinced beyond a shadow of a doubt that this was Mortimer Saunders carrying Courtney Pieters' body to where it was found. In court, as Saunders was confessing to the crimes he committed against Courtney, he also went on to confess that he also did what he did because he secretly didn't like Juanita Pieters, which is Courtney's mother. So he said that he did what he did to try to spite her. However, he also tried to say that he never intended to kill Courtney. He just wanted to make her sick so that he can spite her mother. What? I mean, what do you think was going to happen when you force a 3-year-old girl to drink 2 glasses of poison? But I, for one, refuse to believe that because, I mean, what did he think was going to happen when he strangled her after forcing her to drink 2 glasses of poison? So obviously he intended to kill her. And of course, the court did not believe his claims. And as a matter of fact, the state argued that Courtney's murder was premeditated because the poison, like I mentioned earlier in the video, was bought 8 months before the 4th of May in 2017. And on top of that, upon further inspection of the house, it was also discovered that the house did not have an ant infestation. And that means that Courtney's parents could not have been the ones who bought the poison because they never needed it in the first place. So the only person who could have bought this poison was Mortimer Saunders 8 months before he took Courtney's life. So clearly, her murder was premeditated. And when the cause of death was revealed, it was revealed that Courtney died of asphyxia due to strangulation or smothering, and she also suffered some external blunt force trauma to her face, to her torso, and her limbs. And it also showed that there was force around her neck and her genitals, which obviously came from the choking as well as the sexual abuse. Mortimer Saunders was then found guilty of both charges of rape and murder, and he was sentenced to 2 life sentences in prison. And when the community in court heard this, it felt like a moment of justice being served for an innocent life that was taken for no absolute reason.
In conclusion, the accused is sentenced as follows. Number 1, in respect of count 1, That is rape, the accused is sentenced to life imprisonment. Number 2, in respect of murder, the accused is sentenced to life imprisonment. The 2 sentences are ordered to run consecutively. That's the end of the judgment.
You know, a lot of people came to show support for Courtney and her family, and it was so heartwarming to see people band together against people that are so evil, vile, and disgusting that they would do such horrific acts to other human beings. And when they finally heard the verdict, and when they heard that this man was going away to prison for the rest of his life, everyone was just happy. Everyone was just grateful to the judge for delivering justice for a 3-year-old girl who never did anything wrong to anyone, a girl who had her entire life ahead of her. So it was a moment of celebration and a moment of healing.
Justice was served, and now the family can get closure and the healing can begin. And we are satisfied with the sentence.
But at the end of it all, justice was served for 3-year-old Courtney Pieters, and may her soul continue to rest in peace. And I send my deepest condolences and my love and appreciation to her family to keep being strong for what they went through. And at least now the baby can rest in peace knowing that her killer has been brought to justice and he will never see the light of day. But yeah, guys, that was the case of the disappearance and the murder of 3-year-old Courtney Pieters. Now, I know this was a very short case. I normally go for cases that are a lot longer than this. But yeah, I'm so happy to be back to you guys, to be giving you guys more content. And don't worry, I'm not going to disappear again. But I do appreciate you sticking out to the end of the video. And again, if you are new here and you want to keep hearing from me, please do subscribe to the channel and like the video if you found the content entertaining, educational. And yeah, I will see you guys again on the next upload. Have a great day. Cheers.